It's huge. I found a new way to turn book into actions that change my life. Most people, including me, don't use even 10% of what we read, and even 10% might be too optimistic. In this video, I will show you how to use AI to pull out what matters in a book and turn it into action. I will use a real example from the book I'm reading right now, and no, it's not about dropping PDF into ChatGPT or Notebook LM. This is way more powerful, and I will show you why. I do it while working or during workouts. It's that easy. The book I will use as an example is Play Bigger. Great book, highly recommended. I'm already using what I learned from it to grow my online community, CCGG. That's where smart business owners use teams of custom GPTs to run proven marketing frameworks and create content that brings real buyers. Now, let me show you how to use AI to turn books into action. Okay, so what we will do, we will use a ChatGPT project. ChatGPT project, where you can put files if you like, or add instructions to shape the behavior of the project. I just started the book Play Bigger project, and I started a chat session. And in this chat session, each time I'm reading the book, I will have my phone and I will use the ChatGPT app and dictate anything that comes to my mind when I'm reading the book. And this is my way, my frictionless way to take notes about the book directly into the ChatGPT project related to the book. And it all starts with a chat session. So that's here. I have small context and directly I'm dictating first ideas. And then ChatGPT will turn it into an insight. And this is super powerful because now you don't need to stress too much about structuring your thoughts. Just speak. You read the book, something triggers your mind, speak to ChatGPT about it. ChatGPT will take care of structuring it. Very powerful because your mind becomes a filter. It's not the book any longer. Okay. You don't store passively what the book says. No, you process it through your mind and then you ask whatever question or you make whatever connection that comes to your mind. And so as I'm reading the book, I just speak to my phone about what it inspired me or what I feel I have understood, but very raw input. And each time I have ChatGPT creating an insight that is well structured, that summarizes the thought and that I can reuse as I see fit. And so, for example, I was reading the book and then the book mentioned Peter Thiel and some framework by Peter Thiel, but I wasn't clear about that. So what I did, I just dictate and give me some more information about this or structure the process by Peter Thiel. And this is what it did. Insight 2, it extracted the right framework, not from the book, not from my mind, but from its training data, because it knows about Peter Thiel book 0 to 1. And so it just used the framework here. Then I enhanced the framework because it gave me some idea with some booster to accelerate different dimensions. That's the details, but just to show you how my mind plus external knowledge plus what has triggered my mind inside the book ends up to an insight refined by ChatGPT with me doing no effort here. Of course, when you're reading, sometimes everything is not clear, so you can ask clarification. And this is where I find that this is super powerful because actually ChatGPT has been trained on the book. I know it's controversial, but that's true. I've asked somewhere in the chat, I've asked if it knows about Play Bigger and the concept inside Play Bigger. It answers yes. So it knows it. So each time you find something in the book that is not clear, for instance, here, I needed some clarification. I wanted to know the difference between category and new things, which are two concepts or two notions that are covered in the book. And so I just asked, and then it clarified. Okay, so it's not just note taker, it's not just thought structuring, it's also exploration of the book. And it's very well structured, you can see, okay? Category name, distinction, etc. And so when you're reading a book, you're making association with external knowledge, and then you can use ChatGPT to amplify the connection and structure it. For instance, I was reading the book, and something in the book reminds me Sun Tzu principle about know the terrain, okay, which is a war principle. But I found it interesting to explore it in the frame of the book. And this is what I did. I just explained that I found a connection between these two concepts, Sun Tzu and the book, and then here is what ChatGPT did. It just refined the comparison, refine the connection, and structure it as an insight that I can use. I love that. And sometimes you're reading the book and boom, you have an intuition. You have something that connects in your mind, but you don't know exactly how to express it. This is exactly this example here. Okay, I have this in mind. Okay, POV is the right story for the right timing, technology trend, etc. But I wasn't sure. I'm not sure how to express that exactly. And boom, ChatGPT will do it for me. From intuition I have to structure thoughts I can use. And the beauty of it is that ChatGPT here is leveraging the knowledge it has about the book. from its training data. That's why it's so powerful. I filter, I have the intuition, ChatGPT put the structure, clarify, make it usable. Here, I love the concept of hijacks that they described in the book. And I want to apply it inside my business. What do? I just tell it, open my phone, say, hey, I want to turn the concept of hijack into a framework I can use for my business. And that's it. I have hijack framework for small businesses. Okay. The 5 steps I will go through in order to create my own hijack, which is how to leverage the news and the trend to occupy the space with your unique position. Beautiful. You see how it's easy and frictionless to go from concept ID in the book into stuff you can implement. And that's when you can leverage the power of ChatGPT, because then you can go from ID to structured assets. Okay, here you know where I'm going. Like, it's not just about brain farts that I put in ChatGPT to have structured version of it. Now it's how I can turn these IDs into structured framework. And this is what I did here. I wanted to have a framework to find a category because I want to use that in my CCGG community to refine my position, whatever. And so in this case, I didn't speak, I wrote, but I wrote in a pretty much structured manner the idea I had about a potential frameworks I could extract from some ideas of the book. And then this is what it did. It created a framework to evaluate new business potential, find a category with key questions. Just here, what I want to show you is like, from knowledge I get from the book, I turn it into a framework I can apply in my business or in my life, for instance. And of course, then after, it opened lots of possibilities. Okay, I could have checklists, I could have a form, I could have a tool, I could turn that into a GPT, etc. And the beauty of it is, because you're using one ChatGPT session inside that GPT project, it will remember your previous insight, earlier thoughts, and so it can elaborate on that. It's compounding. It's not just separated notes that you're taking. It's like a flow. It's compounding, and it's like reinforcing each other as well. You can summarize some of the insights. You can do so many stuff. That's just crazy. You can ask also follow-up questions based on the previous insights you collected or the previous notes you took inside the GPT project. And also you can ask it to like analyze your insight and give you some advice about them or some critiques about them. Okay, you can ask the GPT to connect different unrelated ideas and find some other emerging ideas from the book. That's so stimulating. That's something that is crazy powerful. And the beauty of it is that you can use that just by interacting simply with your mobile phone while you're reading or listening to the book. That's the power of this method. 1, frictionless capture and more insight retention. You can use voice to take your notes or to ask a question, clarification question, or to make connection with external concepts that the book inspired you. 2, your mind becomes the filter, not the book. Reading the book, it connects in your mind. You just say to ChatGPT, it will structure it. 3, the GPT can clarify what the book doesn't explain well, so it can go deeper. 4, from ID to structure assets, you take an ID, an intuition, you turn it into a structure thought or even a framework that then after you can reuse. For instance, you can reuse it if you have, like me, GPT or AI-powered system that knows everything about your business or some project that you want to achieve. 5, you can compound the value, the insight, what you learn from the books through the persistent context. And you can exploit this context to refine the next insights or the next notes you take from the book. You can make connections. Very powerful. Number 6, AI turns your thought into actions when paired with your systems. Once again, everything you do when reading the book is turning insights, intuition into something you can use. And then you can plug this something you can use into the next AI powered system you have, like my AI growth engine that I cover in my CCGG community. Or once you finish the book, you can turn this full chat session into a structured knowledge base that you can put in a custom GPT and AI assistant, so that then after you have an AI assistant that helps you implement what you've learned from the book. And so that way, the book never ends. It evolves with you and you can always discuss with it, but it has been filtered through your mind, your thought, what you know, your intuitions, the connection you've made, everything structured by the ChatGPT project. If this clicked with you, here's what to do next. Drop a comment with the book you try this with, then subscribe because you don't want to miss my next video, and then grab my best custom GPT for content, sales, and marketing in my CCGG community. The link is below.